Hi, welcome to Air Rifle Pest Control Norfolk here in the UK, or ARPC Norfolk for short. This is a review of the OneLeaf Commander NV Night Vision add-on kit. As usual, just a quick unboxing, just to show, very well packaged. You've got your little reminder here to take off the insulating sheet on the battery, which I've already done. You get your cleaning cloth, full set of instructions. And then inside, you've got the unit itself with obviously everything that comes with it. And just a quick run through of an overview, really, what it's capable of doing from the box. Sides which state that it's got a 1:6 magnification if it's a 12mm lens, and a 4:24 magnification if it's a 16mm lens. It's got 1 to 3 times digital zoom. Takes photos and video 30 frames per second, 1080 720 video resolution. Takes a micro SD card up to 256 gig. There is actually a micro SD card included with it, which I've already put in there along with the battery. The focus on this thing is 0.3 meters out to infinity. It's got an infrared range of 300 meters, which is 328 yards. The infrared wavelength is 850, and as I said, it runs off of one single 18650 battery. So what do you get in the box? What do you get for your money? Right, so you get a couple of Allen keys, a spare hex bolt, and some spare O-rings. You get this little cable here, which is a USB to micro USB cable. This is for downloading images off of the NV100 to whatever you want to download to, laptop, phone, etc., and also for charging the battery. But personally, it's a lot easier to take the battery out and charge it with a decent battery charger, and to take the card out and put that in your phone, in your laptop, or whatever. You also get, along the main unit, obviously, you get another rubber eye cup. This allows you to alter the eye relief on there, either short or long. You get 3 adapters in the box, and these are the adapters that you use to fit the unit onto the rear of the scope. And you've got a 42, a 45 and a 48mm adapter there, and a roll of insulation tape, which I'll come to later. And you get a nice soft carry cloth to keep the whole thing in, if you don't want to keep that in in the original box. The unit itself, you have got your usual diopter alteration ring here, adjuster ring. So once you've got the unit turned on, the menu comes up, and then you adjust this for your own personal eyesight, so you haven't got to wear glasses, and you can set that. You set that once, you don't have to change that. On this side of the unit, under the rubber cover, you've got a headphone socket, should you want to use that. You've got the slot for the micro SD card, and also the mini USB slot if you wish to use that. Underneath here, you've got a focus wheel. So this is to actually focus the unit. Once you've got it attached to your scope, you use this focus wheel, and that is what gets your reticle focused within the unit. The infrared is here on the top, and that focus ring for that is a push and pull like that. Also on the NV, there is a laser that's built in, and that can be used pretty much just for spotting, really. It can be adjusted. There is an Allen key adjustment on here if you want to put that in for a bit of close range ratting or whatever, but I found mainly if you turn the laser on, it's good for spotting what you're trying to find. Here is your battery compartment, which again is your standard 18650 battery. There is one supplied. The more you use things like the zoom and the infrared power, the more you are going to run this battery down. So it's always best to have a couple of spare ones of these hanging around anyway when you go out shooting, to make sure you don't run out of battery power. Screw that back on. Here you've got the little clip, little lug here. So when you put this on to the adapter on the scope and you spin round, that will click into place. And then once you want to get that off of the adapter, you just hold that little lug back like that, twist that round, and that pulls straight off. I will cover that in detail a bit more later on. The whole thing is very, very sturdy. It's well built, aluminium and good solid plastic. It's very rugged, superb construction. I can't fault that whatsoever. It's a really solid piece of kit. Very similar looking to other add-ons. The switches on the back are slightly different to some of the other units you may have seen. So you've got your on and off switch here at the bottom, and then going round looking at these different buttons, you've got the menu button here, and that's also the button for playing back your videos or looking at your photographs. Up the top here is your screen zoom and the laser on and off. Over here you've got your colour or black and white option, and then when you go to black and white, short tap to that increase the infrared levels, which I believe are up to 6. The button in the middle is the button that you push to OK items when you're flicking through the menu to select the item within the menu and then the setting within the submenu. And it's also the playback button for the video. Sorry, it's the button for recording and taking a photograph. This is the playback one. Sorry, this button in the middle is the one that you push to take a photograph, or you hold down to take the video. And then down the bottom here, full circle, this is the digital zoom button. The instructions are very, very well laid out. There's good photographs in there detailing what all these buttons do when it's a short push or when you hold it down. The instructions, as I say, are very good. They're very clear. They also come with photographs attached to them. So a lot of instructions these days come with silly photographs for you to try and work it all out yourself, or they come with a load of text that bear no relation. But these instructions are really well laid out, and not only do they make clear in the instructions what you need to know, but there is also an accompanying photograph with it. And I found that this made this a lot easier than trying to navigate through some of the other things that I've had recently that have got similar types of menus. Now, in particular, I found the unit that I've got at the moment similar to this is the PARD add-on, and I personally found that an absolute nightmare to negotiate and navigate, whatever. But this, again, you've got the photographs and the text with all the options in the menu and the sub-menu. So don't be put off by the fact that this is a computerised piece of kit, because I'm no techie by any stretch. I found this absolutely brilliant, well worth keeping that safe to help you if you struggle at any stage with what isn't naturally intuitive to you. Now, I will cover it a bit more in depth, but how to attach these is basically, you've got these adapters. These adapters go on to your scope. They clamp down with the Allen bolts, and then once they're clamped on, that stays on your scope all the time. So if you don't want to use the add-on, you just take that off and that stays in place. And then the next time you want to use your add-on, I mainly use these for nighttime shooting, videoing, etc, etc. Don't necessarily use it a lot during the day, but once that's on your scope like that, all you do is you line up the lugs and you twist that round, and then that locks into that adapter. As I say, I'll now show you how that works on the actual scope. And then after that, I'll try and go through as best as I can, filming through the eyepiece, show you the menu, how that works. And then what we'll do is we'll do some comparison footage, showing you this working in the daytime, showing you working at night. And I'll also show some PARD add-on black and white footage at night using the infrared, so you can see the difference between these two units. And you'll see quite clearly that although this is some people would call a budget piece of kit, an entry-level piece of kit, you'll see that with the extra IR on this over and above the PARD, that for night shooting, I actually prefer this. It gives me a better quality, sharper black and white image than the PARD does because of that extra infrared. Right, so this is just to show how you mount the NV100 onto your scope. You select the adapter that's the nearest size. As you can see, there is some movement on there, and that's what this insulation tape here is for. So once you put some of the insulation tape around the end of the scope and pack that out, and that also protects your scope from any damage, you will then tighten up the two Allen bolts that you can see here. They're on the other side to this 42mm adapter that I've now put on there. You can see this is now on nice and tight, and then simply you just line up the MV with the arrow, twist, and that's on. Piece of cake. It couldn't be any simpler than that to actually click that on, and then the opposite of that is you literally just pull the tab on the other side, twist it back, way it came, and off. So that shows how simple that is to put that adapter onto your scope, tighten it up, and how easy that is to fit the NV100 onto the quick release adapter, and how easy it is to get that back off again. Right, this is to try and show you as best as possible the menu, because it's really difficult trying to get the camera lined up and focused through the viewfinder on the NV100 Commander. But I think you can see there quite clearly the settings. So all that is a single push of the menu button on the back of the NV100, and then that brings up that menu. And then using the laser button, you can move the options up, and using the optical zoom button, you can move that menu down. There's two menus of two, so when you get to the bottom, it goes on to the other one. So that's actually one of two. That's the first menu that will come up. And then as you flick down through all those things, that gives you all those other options. It's that simple. So when you actually come to something that you want to alter, So say you want to alter, for some reason, the white balance. When you get to that, you just select the OK button, which is the middle button on the NV100. That takes you in to that sub-menu. You would then go down to select the one that you wanted, click OK, highlight that, and then that changes that to cloudy. And just to take that back again, you just hit on the OK, use the laser or the screen enlarger button at the top, move it back to auto, click on OK, which is the middle button, and that resets it to that. It's that simple, it's that easy. You just turn the menu on, go up and down with those buttons on the back of the NV100, which is the button at 12 o'clock for up and the button at 6 o'clock for down. Select it with the OK button, alter it up and down, click OK, and then you've set it up exactly how you want it, and then all you do at that point is hit the menu button again, and you're back up to using it as a camera. Right, this is just to show the NV100 in daytime mode, and I've chosen this spot in the garden particularly because we've got some bright sunshine out at the moment coming in and out of cloud on the left hand side, and also some dark shadows underneath the bushes right at the back. Now I can't see underneath those bushes with the naked eye that clearly, that far in, but looking through the camera I can see right away in there, a lot further than I can with the naked eye. So this performs really well in the daytime, not just bright vibrant colours, but it's also coping quite well with the contrast of bright sunshine coming in from the left hand side, and also getting into those shadows to give plenty of detail in there as well, without bleaching out the lighter areas or shutting down too much because of the bright sunshine and not allowing you to see too much in the shadows. So the overall picture contrast, brightness and colour on this is absolutely superb. In fact, I'll go as far as to say that I would use this in the daylight, whereas I won't use my card because that doesn't give me as good a picture as that. So that's your daylight picture, daylight footage. Okay, so this is to show you the nighttime footage, and this is on infrared 2. So this is showing you basically a like for like equivalent to the PARD on infrared 2, and like I said before, when you go to infrared 3 on the PARD, it really doesn't show a great deal of difference. Go to 3 on the OneLeaf NV100, you can see a significant difference, and then as you go up to 4, 5 and 6, there's not a lot wrong with that at all. It is absolutely crystal clear, pin sharp. Once again, it is focus for my eye, and there isn't a lot that I can't see through that. Crystal clear for shooting. There's no doubt if anything appeared in that view, whether that be a rat, a rabbit or anything nighttime, there would be no doubt as to what that was. Absolutely crystal clear. So impressed with this. So much more detail, so much more clarity, so much sharper, and unbelievably so much better than the PARD. I'll do some PARD footage, same shot, and let you judge for yourselves. As I said, everybody's eye is different, and everybody's needs, wants and desires are different, but I can't see there's a lot wrong with that whatsoever. Once I've posted the comparison for people to see, you can make your own decisions as to the quality of this compared with the PARD, and whether you think it's worth paying all that much extra for the PARD, or whether you can have such an amazing nighttime visual image as that. Okay, so this is the PARD on the same infrared setup, infrared 2, and as you can see, I don't think there is the same depth of field and the same clarity of image. There may not be a lot in it, but I was in the print industry since I left school, and there for about 30 odd years, and have a very critical eye on colour, definition, clarity, brightness, contrast, saturation, you name it. And looking through that with a very critical eye, I would say that the NV100 has the edge over the PARD. Can go up to go up to IR3. But that's the limit on the PARD. You're not going to get any brighter than that on the card. Just come out a little bit more because the magnifications on the two aren't exactly the same. There you go, that's infrared 3 maximum on the card. That's the night vision view from the pod. Don't get me wrong, there's not a lot wrong with that, and I've been happy with that for a few years, but I'm now much happier with the NV100, and that is at 25-30 yards. I'm sure once you started pushing things out to 30, 40, maybe 50 yards, you'd certainly need, as I found, an additional infrared source to get out to those distances, whereas with the NV100 you've got another 3 levels of IR built in before you've got to spend the extra, what I've spent, £100 on a really decent IR torch to get out to those extra distances. So even though this is a lot cheaper than the PARD, if you do go for the PARD, you're then looking at another £100 on top of that to get the IR torch that I've bought in order to get out to the extra distances, which I don't think you'll need to on the NV100 because of the built-in NV100 IR extra levels. So there you are. Make your own minds up. You pay your money, you take your choice. All I can do is show you the equivalents and let you make your own mind up. As I've said, everybody's eye is different. For me, my money, the NV100 Commander has proved me wrong in both daytime and nighttime. This is a much, much better unit. Okay, to sum up, do I recommend the OneLeaf Commander NV100? The answer to that is absolutely. Is it better than the PARD? Well, that's going to be down to individual taste. Personally, I believe it is. The daytime footage is better, and the nighttime footage is a lot better. It's certainly on playback a lot smoother image. Through the viewfinder, when you're using it as the MV unit, it's a lot sharper, it's a lot clearer, there's better depth of field, contrast and clarity. When you play it back side by side with the two videos on screen, obviously you are going to get the whole thing look a bit grainier than on the tiny little screen within the units, but even on a decent quality computer screen, when you run the two side by side, the OneLeaf NV100, the black and white infrared photograph or video is much, much smoother and much better on the eye. They're both equally as well made. They're good quality construction, the materials, etc., etc. They're both a piece of cake to use and to set up. It's just a case of personal preference. The videos I've done are obviously set up for my eye and focused for my eye. So if you don't think that the NV100 is perfectly in focus, then nor will the PARD be either. But just look at the comparison and don't take my word for it. I mean, go and check them out. Go and try them and see for yourself. And then when you look at the difference between the two and look at the difference between the two in price, I'm sure there's only going to be one way that you're going, and that's for the OneLeaf Commander NV100.